something is very wrong with Peter Parker. This new Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer reveals black eyes, organic webbing, and powers that shouldn't even be possible. But while everyone is talking about Scorpion, Hulk, and the possible X-Men connection, they're missing the biggest mystery in the entire trailer. What's happening to Peter Parker? Let's talk about it. The trailer opens with Spider-Man being launched through the air from a considerable distance, soaring past two Odyssey security officers before crashing into the scene. Judging by the context, this attack was most likely caused by Scorpion. Interestingly, one of the newest promotional posters for Spider-Man Brand New Day features Spider-Man battling Scorpion on top of a skyscraper, and the artwork appears to take direct inspiration from the cover of the 1995 Spider-Man Adventures comic, The Sting of Scorpion. During one of the fight sequences, we get a much better look at Scorpion himself. He now appears to have the full Scorpion suit, complete with the iconic tail and its deadly stinger. Naturally, this raises a major question. Where exactly did Mac Gargan get this suit? One theory suggests that Tombstone may have provided it. Interestingly, Tombstone has yet to appear anywhere in this second trailer. Gargan is finally returning to the Spider-Man franchise after his last appearance in the post-credit scene of Spider-Man: Homecoming. Marvel has taken quite a long time to bring him back as a legitimate threat to Peter Parker. And somehow, somewhere along the way, Gargan also managed to escape prison. The next shot focuses on Peter Parker's eye, which has turned completely black. The scene is filmed from inside the mask using an extreme macro perspective. Could this be a sign that Peter has bonded with the symbiote? As fans will remember from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, the symbiote significantly enhanced Peter's powers, but it also came with a dangerous consequence of making him lose control. However, this may not be related to the symbiote at all. Instead, it could be hinting that the spider DNA inside Peter is mutating beyond his control, causing his abilities to evolve and become even more powerful. That theory would certainly explain how easily he appears to overpower Mac Gargan during their confrontation. The trailer then shifts to a scene where Peter Parker tests one of his web shooters. It appears the device has recently been repaired. However, when he attempts to use it, the device fails to function. Moments later, organic webbing suddenly shoots directly from his body. It's a moment that instantly brings back memories of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, as well as Ben Reilly from the upcoming Spider-Noir series starring Nicolas Cage.
Dr. Banner, you found a way to suppress mutating DNA, right?
If you see me with this stuff, we'll run.
The next sequence takes us to Empire State University, where Peter Parker arrives, wearing an ESU hoodie, and begins speaking with Dr. Bruce Banner. Banner then shows Peter the device attached to his arm, which is clearly the same technology that was first prominently introduced in She-Hulk. However, this version appears to be different. It seems to have been upgraded, and for the first time we get a clear look at several indicators displaying red, yellow, and green status lights along with the words gamma suppression active. This confirms the device's purpose, suppressing the gamma radiation in Bruce Banner's bloodstream to prevent him from transforming into the Hulk. Peter then asks how Banner managed to remove the bad aspects while keeping the good ones. That question immediately brings to mind Bruce's journey toward becoming Smart Hulk, the version we saw in Avengers Endgame after successfully merging Banner and Hulk into a single personality. Meanwhile, the conversation continues as Bruce Banner begins to suspect that Peter Parker may not actually be a student at Empire State University. This raises an interesting question. If Peter is asking Bruce about altered DNA and genetic mutations, would he have to reveal that he is Spider-Man? That seems unlikely. Peter would probably go to great lengths to protect his secret identity. There's also another lingering mystery tied to Doctor Strange's spell in Spider-Man: No Way Home. We still don't know whether Bruce Banner, Hulk, or both were affected by the memory wipe. Regardless, one thing is clear from this scene. Bruce Banner does not appear to recognize Peter Parker at all. We then get additional footage from a large-scale chase sequence involving Spider-Man and several military tanks. The trailer also gives us another look at the character played by Trammell Tillman, identified as William Metzger, who is rumored to be the head of the Department of Damage Control. While discussing a threat that they cannot see, the scene cuts to a mysterious hooded figure whose face remains hidden. However, if the image is brightened, her facial features become more visible, and she appears to be none other than Sadie Sink's character. Another fascinating moment takes place on Roosevelt Island, where a massive shockwave suddenly erupts. This location holds special significance in Spider-Man history. Fans may remember Roosevelt Island Tramway from the climactic battle between Spider-Man and Green Goblin in the original Spider-Man film. We also saw the same tramway referenced at the beginning of Spider-Man: No Way Home. It's possible that Roosevelt Island serves as the facility where Sadie Sink's character is being held. She appears to unleash the shockwave in order to free herself, instantly freezing everyone caught within its range. But something doesn't add up. Among all the people affected by the blast, Frank Castle, better known as the Punisher, seems completely immune and remains capable of moving. During the same sequence, we once again hear William Metzger explaining that Spider-Man is the only person immune to this mysterious power. Interestingly, we've seen a somewhat similar ability before. In X2, X-Men United, Charles Xavier demonstrated powers capable of immobilizing large groups of people. That's one of the biggest reasons many fans believe Sadie Sink may actually be playing Jean Grey. However, this creates an even bigger question. How could a member of the X-Men suddenly exist in Earth 616? Up until now, the MCU has provided virtually no indication that the X-Men have been active in this universe. And Jean Grey isn't just any mutant. She's traditionally one of the core members of the original X-Men team. Could Jean Grey's presence in Earth 616 be connected to an incursion currently taking place behind the scenes? If the multiverse is beginning to collapse and become unstable, it could explain why characters who don't belong in this universe are suddenly appearing here. That may also explain why Jean Grey is being held inside Odyssey. But another question remains. Why would Spider-Man be immune to the shockwave she releases? The answer may lie in Spider-Sense. We've seen something similar before in Spider-Man No Way Home when Dr. Strange separated Peter's astral form from his body. Yet Peter's body was still capable of reacting on its own thanks to Spider-Sense. One particularly interesting scene shows Spider-Man viewing people through what appears to be an enhanced perspective. It almost looks like some form of artificial intelligence is helping him track Jean Grey's consciousness as it spreads from person to person. This becomes even more intriguing when considering leaked script details claiming that Peter Parker will have an AI companion named Evie in this film. If those leaks are accurate, Evie could be assisting Peter in locating and tracking the source of Jean Grey's powers. The trailer then shows an explosive burst of webbing erupting from a hallway, sending Spider-Man flying backward. This is followed by a sequence where Jean Grey enters the minds of multiple people while speaking directly to Peter.
You okay? You get rid of that monster inside you?
Think I might go see how MJ's doing.
One line in particular stands out. There's a monster inside you. That statement immediately brings us back to the beginning of the trailer and the central problem Peter appears to be facing. Many fans believe this is a reference to the symbiote. However, the symbiote isn't literally something that originates from within Peter himself. A more likely explanation is that Jean Grey is referring to the mutated spider DNA evolving inside his body. Another notable line follows when she says, I think I might go see how MJ's doing.
Think I might go see how MJ's doing.
It sounds very much like a threat, suggesting that Jean Grey knows exactly who Peter Parker is and understands who matters most to him. This implies that despite Dr. Strange's spell erasing Peter from everyone's memory, Jean Grey is still capable of uncovering his identity. That doesn't necessarily mean she was immune to the spell. Rather, her telepathic abilities may allow her to access people's memories and uncover information hidden deep within their minds. We then see Spider-Man holding Bruce Banner's gamma suppression device, indicating that it has somehow been removed from Banner's arm. Interestingly, one of the still images released by Empire magazine shows MJ and Spider-Man working together to repair the same device. This suggests that the equipment is damaged at some point during the story. Shortly afterward, Jean Grey is once again shown unleashing her powers. And this may be the exact moment that causes Bruce Banner to lose control and transform back into Savage Hulk. Audiences were first introduced to this larger, more aggressive version of Hulk in The Incredible Hulk, followed by the Avengers. And now it appears he may finally be making his long-awaited return. In one scene, Spider-Man comments that he had no idea Hulk could be that big. Peter's reaction actually makes sense. The only time he truly interacted with Hulk was during Tony Stark's funeral in Avengers Endgame, where Bruce Banner was still in his Smart Hulk form and noticeably smaller than Savage Hulk. Meanwhile, Bruce never transformed into Hulk during Avengers Infinity War. That explains why Peter seems genuinely shocked by Hulk's enormous size. We also see Savage Hulk perform the iconic thunderclap attack. Fans will undoubtedly recognize this move from The Incredible Hulk. It later reappeared in She-Hulk, and now it seems poised to make another appearance in this film. The trailer then shifts to a sequence where members of the Hand arrive at a prison facility. Many fans believe this could be the very same prison where Matt Murdock is being held. And despite Charlie Cox repeatedly denying that he'll appear in Spider-Man Brand New Day, very few people seem convinced. If the theories are correct, this could finally give us the first live-action big-screen team-up between Spider-Man and Daredevil. After all, Charlie Cox only appeared as Matt Murdock in Spider-Man No Way Home. Compared to the first trailer, this prison sequence now features a much larger battle between Spider-Man and the Hand. Earlier footage suggested Peter had already removed his mask, but here we can clearly see that he's still wearing it and still has access to his web shooters. We also learn that the Hand isn't relying solely on katanas. They appear to be carrying specialized electrical weapons specifically designed to combat Spider-Man. Ever since the first trailer was released, many fans suspected that the organic webbing generated by Peter Parker would be significantly stronger than the artificial webbing produced by his web shooters. This trailer seems to support that theory. We can actually see the organic webbing shatter one of the Hand's katanas. Even more impressive, Spider-Man appears to unleash what looks like a tornado web attack. Interestingly, this ability closely resembles imagery featured in one of the latest promotional posters for Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Shortly afterward, Peter removes his mask, revealing that his eyes have once again turned completely black. The trailer also showcases an intense battle between Spider-Man and Hulk, as both characters crash through a building. Hulk remains trapped in Spider-Man's webbing, while the two plummet through collapsing debris together. The trailer then concludes with Spider-Man battling armed guards inside Odyssey, or possibly what appears to be a Supermax prison facility. This sequence will likely lead directly into Spider-Man's confrontation with the Hand, setting up one of the film's biggest action set pieces. And before we wrap up, there's one final theory that's becoming harder and harder to ignore. Throughout the trailer, we see Peter's eyes turning completely black, organic webbing emerging from his body, and repeated hints that something inside him is changing. We even hear Jean Grey tell Peter that there's a monster inside him. Most fans assume these clues are connected to a symbiote. But what if they're not? What if Marvel is actually drawing inspiration from Man-Spider, one of the strangest and most terrifying Spider-Man storylines ever created? That doesn't necessarily mean Peter will transform into a giant spider monster, exactly like the comics. But it could mean that the spider DNA inside him is evolving beyond his control, pushing him further away from Peter Parker and closer to something else entirely. And if that's really where this story is heading, then the greatest threat in Spider-Man, Brand New Day, may not be Scorpion, Jean Grey, Hulk, or even the Hand. It might be Spider-Man himself.